I'm Nina Paley, and I'm an animator. And I've been using Flash for all my work for the last 12 years. But I reached a point where I could no longer use Flash because Adobe has been ruining it. And this year, I was like, okay, I have to learn some sort of new animation software. And Anime Studio Pro came up as a possibility. But I didn't really know who was using it or what had been made with it. And then, I don't even know how I discovered Victor's work. I think it was through one of the Anime Studio forums. But, you know, I learned about the work of Víctor Paredes, who is, it's amazing, it's beautiful, and it's his work that made me want to actually learn Anime Studio Pro. Except that unlike Flash, I have been unable to teach myself Anime Studio Pro. And I got, I just sort of hit a wall. And out of desperation or insanity or something, I sent him a message a few months ago asking if he wanted to come visit me from Chile to teach me Anime Studio Pro. And he said yes. And here he is, and now I'm learning it. And yeah, I'm trying to learn the software, but he is El Maestro. And maybe you can learn it too. I don't know. He's El Maestro. Thank you for coming, Victor.
Okay, thank you very much for coming today. I didn't know this room was so big, and the table and everything, so I am a little impressed, but thank you. I have been using this software for years. I work in Chile in a little company of 5 people. We make spots and shorts and things like that. So I contacted Nina because she wrote in her blog. So I contacted her, and then I am here eating her food. Okay, what I like about this software is that it takes the concept that 3D animation software uses, that is rigging, right? So in 3D software, you make some kind of puppet with a skeleton, and you animate that bones to get the animation, right? There are a few software in 2D that make the same, but I think this one is the more powerful. So, for example, I have here this character, and you can see this character has bones, right? So I can move that bones, and the character moves. So it is very easy to rig a character, and I am looking at the other screen, sorry. And make an animation. For example, we can create a walk cycle. I'm gonna set one extreme of the walk cycle here. Let's suppose here the arms goes to the opposite of the legs. Can move the arms a little, right? So I have the first step, right? I'm gonna add some keyframes here. And now I can create the inverse position. So I make the same, but with the contrary. Right. So I have this animation. Now this frame. Right. I can copy and paste the first pose to the other step here, so copy and paste, and now I have this, right? And in between I can move the body a little down, put the foot on the ground and the other up. So I have this. right? And now I can make the same for the other step. Now I think this is the other foot here. So I have this. So I have already a work cycle, right? So I can play with this work cycle. For example, I can make that in between the body goes a little down. Let's suppose this. And now I have a different kind of work. I can animate the arms, so I can break the joints. So this arm goes to this angle and this to the other. So I make the same for the other step. So now he looks more relaxed, right? Okay, so you see it is very easy to create an animation. It is very fast. So now I have my work cycle ready. So I create here a cycle to repeat this action. Okay, so a cycle which will be back to frame 2. And now the cycle will repeat forever until I want. Right? So now I can move the layer of my character. So I can make the character work to the left. So I have the character walking, right? And this is the video, the final video, this frame here. So I can move the camera, right, to follow the character. But this background, which is here, it has the sky, clouds, grass, right, ground, and everything in different vector layers. This is organized in 3D, because you can work in a 3D space, so I can rotate this, and you can see the sky is behind. So now if I move the camera, suppose the camera starts here, right? And now I'm gonna follow the character, so you can see the parallax effect. Oh, I can set the camera to linear. So it's fast and it's easy. So I recommend. I don't receive money from Smith Micro or the people there, but I really recommend you to try it, and if you want to buy it. Okay. Now I want to show this character is made of vector layers. So you can see here, for example, this character is made by points, right? Like an Illustrator file or something similar. But you can also create a character from images. So I have a BSD layer. Here is it. I have a bird. So I can import this image. I'm going to show you. This is a BSD file with different layers. So if I import it, the software asks me if I want to import the layers individually. So I press here, and I have 3 layers. I have the bird. I'm going to scale it a little. So I have the body layer, right, the back of the wing layer, and the front of the wing layer, right? So I can easily create bones for this character. For example, I can create a bone for the body and another for the wing. So I'm gonna bend the wing and bend the body and bend the other wing also to this bone. So I have this. Let me show you here. So I can animate the bird, right? But this is the more basic way to rig a character in Anime Studio. If you see here, the bones have this shape around, which is the strength of the bone. So a bone can also bend a layer. So if I create a new bone, for example, for the head, I can rotate the head, and I can play with the strength, change it to more or less, and the effect will be different, right? So I don't only can rotate layers, I can bend them, right? So I can create another bone for this part detail and reduce the strength a little, and now I can bend the tail, and I can create bones for the wing. So I'm gonna create 2 bones here, and if I test it, the wing now bends also, right? But if I take the wing and rotate it down, you can see I get this, I don't know how to say this in English, but this.
¿Cómo se dice en español?
No sé. Estrujar. Squeeze, I think, in English. Okay, I have this. Estrujar. Español. I have this, and this is because the strength of the different bodies, the different bones, are fighting to take the pixels, right? So now we want to tell the software that the body image layer gonna be moved only with this, and with this bone, right? So I select them and go to bone and check use selected bones for flexibility. So now the body only bends with these 3, right? So now if I now test it, it bends, but when I rotate the wing, you can see the body is not being affected by the wing, right? The wing is still being affected by the body. So I'm gonna make the same with the 2 layers of the wing. So I select these 2 bones and tell the software use these bones, and the same for the back, use these bones. So now I can rotate the wing, bend it, and I can rotate the body and bend it. Right. So I can create now a flight. So I'm gonna put some keyframes here, right? And now rotate the wing down, like this, and now rotate it up again. So I copy and paste these keyframes here. This is similar to the walk cycle. 3 keyframes. Here. So I hit play, and there is it. So now I can rotate this point bone here to create a better sensation of the bird flying. So have this, and to the other side the same. So now you can see the wing is waving. Right? And I can move the bone of the body, so I can make that the body goes up when the wing goes down. So I have this, right? And then I'm gonna copy the down position again, here, copy and paste, so I have this, right? But we still having some problems. For example, here in the middle, you can see it doesn't look good. The scale of the wing is bigger than the body. So I can create a specific movement for that rotation. So Let me show you this. This bone, if I select it, it has a name. It is called B4. Okay, by default it is called B4, but I can change the name to wing. So now it is called wing. And I can create here in the actions window, I can open this action window, and I can create a new action with the same name of the bone, wing. Okay, so now I am inside this action. It is like a parallel timeline. Okay, it is not part of the animation. So I can say that in this action, I tell the software when this bone goes down, right? I have this. In the middle of this movement, the front and back wings gonna be scaled. Here, the scale is the opposite, but it's a little problem of the software work. So you see, it is scaled, and now in the end, at the end of the movement, I'm gonna scale the normal scale back. So I have this, right? So now if I go back to my bone layer and go back to the main line, every time I rotate this bone, the layer is gonna be scaled. Right? So I make this action only once, and I have the movement forever. So now it looks better. Finally, for this example, you see I have a front and a back layer, right? I want to show the front layer when the wing is down and show the back layer when the wing is up. So to make this, I'm going to create a new kind of layer here. So I go here, new, and I'm going to create a switch layer. And a switch layer is like a group. I'm going to name it wing. It's like a group, but if you put layers inside it, it only shows one of the layers which are inside it, right? So if I right click here, I can choose between front or back. And this, if I animate this change generates a keyframe. So I have a keyframe here, right? So I can animate, for example, here I want to show the back, right? So the back is here, and when the wing is down here, I'm going to show the front, right? So if you look it slowly, it doesn't look too good, but when you press play to the animation, it looks good. So now here, I'm going to show the back again. And I'm going to add a keyframe here. So now if I hit play, you can see the wing is simulating a 3D rotation. I can make some other things. For example, I can take the bone of the wing, and I can go back to the wing action, and I can tell the software that in the middle of this action, the bones of the wing gonna be scaled. I can scale this. Let's suppose here. So now it is being scaled, and at the end, I'm gonna reset the scale back. So now if I go back to the main line, every time I rotate the bone, the image layers scales, but also the bones. Right? So now my animation is like this. Maybe it looks better like a 3D animation, right? So we have a rig now. We can set a cycle the same way with the world cycle. So I have my animation, and I can bend the head so the bird can look down, and there is nothing interesting, so it looks up again. So you have a rig. I really like to work with images because it is very fast. You only put some bones and bend the layers, and it is very flexible. I have some other example here. Let me find it. Here is it. I'm gonna open here. I have this guy from the mafia. This is for an animatic I work. So you can see I have a bone layer and several image layers of the head, the body, the arms, right? And for the other character I only have one image layer. So this has some bones, so I can move the bones here and the character moves, right? It doesn't work for too extreme movements. For example, this, I have problems here, but for this simple scene, it works very, very well. So the same with the other guy, this one, you can rotate, right? He can't talk. So here is the final animation of this. I don't remember what was happening here, but he's alive now. And I have another one. Let me check. It's called. Do you know Don Francisco? In Chile, they tell us Don Francisco is famous. Here. No? Okay.
Who's Don Francisco?
Huh?
Who is he?
Chilean animator of TV. I suppose he is famous in Miami. Or he has a very bad TV show. Okay. So I don't like this guy. I think he's part of the mafia also. So. So I have this character of Don Francisco eating coins, right? So you can see this character is only one image layer, and it has several bones. So each bones move to simulate he's eating the coins, right? So I have another version of this file here. Alright, it is the same, but in this one, when I rotate this bone, I assign that the other bones work like the mouth is open and closing. So you can see I only need to rotate one bone and everything else happens. So this is made the same way than the bird. I have an action for this bone. I have an action. This one is called B1. So I have the action B1, and you can see in this action, this bone rotates, and this other bone moves, and it can scale. Right? Let's exaggerate this here. Okay. So now every time, if I go back to the main line, every time I rotate this, I get this, right? And the same to the other side. I have another action for this bone, but now it's rotating to the other side. So he's opening more the mouth. I can scale it more, move it, scale more. Now looks like the movie. Doesn't. Okay. So I have this. So now I go back to the main line, and every time I move this bone here, I get this, right? And I have this other bone which moves a little the eyebrows. It doesn't work so good, but it's something, right? I can animate. Well, this is Don Francisco. And I have another character here. You have to know this. It's from here. He-Man. So I have a toy of human, and you can see I have several bones. This is more complex than the other, but it is the same principle. So you can see that this is made by several. Okay, and I have these other bones, this one. So I assign that when I rotate this bone, they are the scales. So I can squash and stretch the arms, and with the other arm make the same, and this one squash and stretch the body. Right. So I have this movement. Right. He's living and being human. And in the head, you can see I have several bones. Right. These bones have different strengths, and everyone moves the head. And I have this little bone here that simulates a 3D rotation of the head, only moving these bones. This doesn't work extremely well, but can be useful. So you can see in the animation, human rotates the head, and it is only the pixel being moved. Okay. Any question here? Slowly, please. I am bad.
Yeah, okay, so how do you, so supposing when you like draw something, you have to draw it in another program and then transfer it to MV Studio Pro?
There.
Like, how do you draw or like make?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can draw in Anime Studio. You can draw vectors. Now I want to show you vectors. The dog of the first example I showed, it was made by vectors inside Anime Studio. But when you are working with images, you have to work with Photoshop, GIMP, or whatever bitmap software. But I actually prefer to work with vectors inside Anime Studio. It is much more flexible. Now I want to show you why. I have this dog character. No, not this. I have another. It is called perro. Okay. I'm gonna open it. I have this dog. So you can see this dog is made by vector layers. This is the icon for vector layer. So, for example, for the face, I have several points made in Anime Studio, so I can move them, right? Adjust the curvature, the line width, change the color, right? So these are the vectors of Anime Studio. I think here is it, right? So I put bones on it. I'm gonna move these bones here. Don't gonna use them now. There. I put bones here so I can rotate the head, and I can move the ears. So now I can make this character jump. So I just take this bone, anticipate the jump here. Now here he's jumping, so I have this, and now he falls a little bit more here, and then stabilize, go back to the position. So I have this, right? A little jump. So now I am moving the bone, but I also can rotate it. So when the dog is anticipating, the head can go down, and when he is jumping, the head can go back, and then he falls and the head go to the front again, and then to the normal position. So I have this, right? And now, if I am tired, and I don't want to animate the ears, right? I can select the ears, the bones of the ears, and I can go to this menu, this one, and check bone dynamics, right? And now if I hit play, the ears moves along, following the movement, right? So I don't need to animate the ears again. And I can edit these values. For example, if I don't want the bones to rotate so much, I can reduce this value. If I want the movement softer, I can reduce this one. You see? And if I want to reduce the damping, I move this one. So the bones will be moving many frames, right? So you see, it is very easy to activate, it is very easy to animate. But now, we are only animating bones, but we have vectors inside, right? So in the vector layer, I'm gonna erase the animation of the bones, just to show you this. In the vector layer, I can animate the vectors. So for example, I can make the dog sad. So I just move this point, suppose here I'm gonna, okay, and now he is sad, right? And this generates an animation, right? And I can go beyond that, and I can move the vectors to create a head turn. So I can take, this is longer, but I can take the nose and move it here and start moving the points one by one. So I'm not gonna make this right now, but you can. Okay, so now I can simulate. Let's suppose here. Don't look at the eyes. But now you can see we have a turn animation, right? But this animation can be saved inside an action too. So just like the bird action, I have these bones here, and I have a bone named head turn. And if I open the action window, you can see there is an action head turn, and when I rotate this bone, this happens, right? Okay, sometimes the preview is not good with the dynamics, but okay, so you can see if I go to the face vector layer, you can see I have keyframes here for the point movement, right? So I have this movement. So now, if I go back to the main line and go back to the bone layer, every time I want to rotate the head, I just rotate this bone, so I can create the animation. So once you have the rig made, it is very easy to make head turns and other complex stuff. You don't need to move the points always, right? And I even can combine different actions. For example, here I have bones which controls the eyes, so I can move the eyes left and right and up and down. and I move them only rotating the bones. And for the other character, the other dog, I'm gonna open it. I have also a head turn bone. You can see he also rotates, and the this bone even controls the order of the layers. So you can see here the layer of the left ear goes down, right, when the bone rotates. So you can see in the layer window the layers are changing the order. Right. So I have more samples. Example, I have this boss, skull boss, and you can see this one doesn't have any bone inside the body of the boss, but I have several controls here. This one controls the wheels, this one makes the boss go up and down, this one squash and stretch it, this make this kind of rotation, this make this, and this simulates a 3D rotation. So I can combine all these bones and animate only moving these bones. Right? And you can see these are all the actions. For example, I have this animation, and I can make here the boss stop and rotate here. So he stops and rotates, and he can rotate here. Oops, here. And we can add some squash and stretch. So we have a very cartoony car. Right? So you can see this boss is only one vector layer. It is here. And here are all the points. This is a little dense, but the other ones have only a few points.
Can you actually show the timeline of the rotation?
Yes. Let me show. Found it. Turning. Here is it. It is only one frame, but I'm gonna move it here. And here are the keyframes. So this is the action. When this rotates, the points have these keyframes. So I could change it. For example,
You just moved it point by point.
Point by point. I had a reference behind. I have a row of the boss in front and side, and with that reference I move the points. Right. It is not so hard to make this. I could change, for example, I could change the color of the boss when I rotate the bone. Okay. Here. So now if I go back to the main line, every time I rotate the boss, it also changes the color. Right. And I can continue playing. You see, I can make the this can be bigger every time the boss rotates. I don't know if it is useful, but you can see it is only edit the points. It's not hard. Any other question?
Yeah, is it possible to do like a mathematical formula for like if you wanted to put a sine wave on the stretching of something, could you program it instead of animating keyframes?
Yeah, I'm not expert on that, but everything in the software, the tools and other things are made in Lua. It is a programming language, so you can create your own scripts, put them in layers or create new tools. So you could.
Yeah, how compatible is the output format with the web? Because like in a Flash movie, you're going to embed that Flash movie onto the web page. So what kind of format is this saved in so you can embed it? Will it save as an animated GIF file?
No, you can't. But you can save as a QuickTime movie or AVI, and you even can save like a Flash file, but your character must be very simple to work with Flash because they don't have the same features. So some things from this doesn't work in the Flash format. But you have several formats of video export. What else?
Do you usually use like After Effects or something after this, or is this the final
Yes,
format?
I don't use it personally, but in Fluor Films, the place where I work, the people make the final composition in After Effects. So I create only the characters, send them with no background, with alpha, and they make the final composition and different effects. No one else? Okay, let me see if I can show you something else. I want to show you how to create the. I'm going to import another image. So I have this image, which is made by several PSD layers, right? So I have the sky, the mountains, and everything. So if I want to set up a 3D scene, I only I can split the screen here, and here I can see my normal view, and here the 3D. So now I can go to the sky, and I can move it up. I can move it far away, right? And now the software auto-scale the layer, so it is very far here, but the software auto-scale to make this fit with the original size. So for example, I have the sky, now the mountain, I make the same. For example, here you can see the mountains change its position and scale. The other mountains here, these trees here, and I can take this other here, so they are more in front. So now I have a 3D scene setup, right? So now if I animate the camera, you can see the parallax effect, and I also can close the camera here. So you can create some very cool effects, right? And all just moving back the layers. I think that's all I have right now.
I have another question, which is a technical one, so if anyone else has technical questions, they usually go first. Yeah.
I have a question. So you can move things in Z. Can you also rotate?
Yes. Yes.
So a bow could also rotate like toward or away from the camera.
Yes. No, not a bone can do that.
But your assets, your art assets could.
You can rotate the layers, the entire layer which contains all the bone. You can rotate that, but not an individual bone. The 3D system is not 3D.
And can you do gradient fills?
Yep.
Everything's a solid film, right?
Yep. Let me show you. I'm gonna open another file. Okay, the dog again. You can select the shape of the dog, for example this one, and here you have different effects. So you have an auto shading, so I can select this and I have an angle, offset, I can drag it, blur, change the color. So there is it, you have it, and you have other effects. You also have gradients. I can have gradient. Let's suppose here, and the gradient have this control, so I can animate this control, right? And I can assign this to a bone. I can create different effects using gradients. There is other effects that are not applied on the vector layer, but on the bone layer. For example, in the layer properties here, I can have a shadow. So if I apply shadow in my final render here, I'm gonna render this. You can see I have a drop shadow. Or I can have a shading for all the layers. So I apply this and render, and you can see there is shading for all layers. And I can change the color, the offset, and everything. And I also can have a perspective shadow. If I apply this, you see the dog, a perspective shadow. And if I move, for example, the dog here up, the perspective shadow works like in 3D. This.
Can you do the effect in this, like they did in some of the old classic cartoons, like with a blush, like starting at the neckline and going slowly up? Like
Sorry, I can understand.
like the red coming up gradually, like somebody's embarrassed and they
You can animate the gradient.
Yeah, you can. Let's make this dog be a chain. Let me, for example, here I can have just a white or a gray. Here is a gray gradient, right? So here, right? So I have this gradient, and here in second 2, for example, I can select this again and change the color. It is a little too much, but I can change the color, so the dog will become red. So you can make it with the gradients, or you can make it only with a plain color. For example, here, if I select this shape, I can just change the color, so that generates another kind of keyframe, and the dog is becoming red. Everyone else?
So my question was just, how did you get into animation, how did you learn Anime Studio, and what would you recommend to people who are trying to learn Anime Studio?
Sure. Okay, I am a journalist. I study in the University of Santiago, but I discovered this software and suddenly I was working with this professionally. I really like the Anime Studio forum. You can check it at Lost Marble. Lost Marble, I am saying it right. .com/forum. I participate there. The people there is very nice. It is full of tutorials and a lot of things. Smith Micro also makes some webinars. I have a couple of ones. They are on YouTube, so these tutorials are very good. I recommend you to start there. If someone wants to contact me via Facebook or mail or whatever for a question or help, of course you can.
You guys can find Victor on Facebook on the events page. Yeah, he's attending, so.
That's a brief idea of what Anime Studio can do. I don't know. I can show you my reel. I forgot.
Yeah, could you?
Yeah.
Show us.
Yeah, I had to show this at first, but I forgot. I even have the folder open. So the music is not too serious. So.